It is said, no beauty shines brighter than that of a good heart. With this thought, I welcome you, my dear Glorians of Standard 8, to another class of science. Greetings of the day and a hearty welcome. Let's continue with human body and organ system. We have learnt that the process of pumping the blood towards various parts of the body and bringing it back towards the heart is called as blood circulation. In order to maintain the continuity in circulation, heart alternately contracts and relaxes. Consecutive single contraction and relaxation of heart constitutes a single heartbeat. In order to find the number of heartbeats per minute, we could use the simple materials given on page 79 under try this, such as a rubber tube, a funnel, and a stopwatch. Fit the funnel at one end of the rubber tube. Keep the wide mouth of the funnel on the left side of the chest. Then bring the other end of the tube near to the ear to hear the sound and record the number of beats per minute using stopwatch. We find that the number of heartbeats recorded may range between 60 to 100 beats per minute. Let's understand the meaning of pulse. When your heart beats, it pushes blood around your body. This heartbeat can be felt as your pulse on your wrist or neck. Your pulse is measured by counting the number of times your heart beats in 1 minute. For example, if your heart contracts 72 times in 1 minute, your pulse would be 72 beats per minute. This is also called your heart rate. Let us now understand about blood. We all are aware that blood is a red colored fluid. It is called as a fluid connective tissue. This is because it is a special type of tissue which is fluid in nature, and since it links different parts of the body and maintains a continuity in the body, it is called as fluid connective tissue. Oxygenated blood is deep red, salty in taste, and has pH of 7.4, which means that it is slightly alkaline in nature. Plasma and blood cells are the two components of blood. We will now study about plasma and blood cells. Let us understand the first component of blood, plasma. If we were to take blood in a test tube and allow it to centrifuge, which means rotate at very high speed, then the solid components of blood will settle at the bottom of the test tube and a clear liquid is seen above. This clear liquid is called as plasma. Plasma is pale yellow, clear, and slightly alkaline fluid. It contains 90 to 92% water, 6 to 8% proteins, 1 to 2% inorganic salts, and other components. The proteins present are albumins, globulins, fibrinogen, and prothrombin. Fibrinogen and prothrombin help in blood clotting process. We will now understand the different blood cells. Let us begin with the red blood corpuscles, also known as RBCs. They are even called as erythrocytes. RBCs are small, circular, biconcave cells and they do not possess nucleus. These cells, as you can see, appear red in color due to the presence of the pigment hemoglobin. The hemoglobin present in the RBCs has affinity to oxygen and it binds itself to oxygen and therefore it can transport oxygen to different parts of the body. 50 to 60 lakh RBCs per cubic mm of blood are present in human body. RBCs are produced in bone marrow and live for about 100 to 127 days. That means the lifespan of RBCs is around 100 to 127 days. This is how RBCs look under microscope. As the number of RBCs exceeds the number of other blood cells, the blood looks red in color. Remember that the various blood cells like RBCs, white blood cells and platelets are suspended in the plasma of the blood. Since the RBCs are numerous, the blood looks red in color. After red blood corpuscles, we move on to the next type of blood cells, that is leukocyte. Leukocytes are also called as white blood corpuscles, abbreviated as WBCs. WBCs are large, nucleated and colorless cells. They have nucleus, therefore they are called nucleated. The color seen here is due to the staining of the slide containing the blood smear in order to see it under the microscope. WBCs are present in lesser number compared to RBCs. 5,000 to 10,000 WBCs are present per cubic millimeter of blood. 5 types of WBCs are present. These are neutrophil, eosinophil, basophil, monocyte, and lymphocyte. This is how the different types of WBCs are as they appear under the microscope. WBCs are produced in red bone marrow and they act as soldiers of our body. This is because WBCs attack the pathogens entering our body and thus they protect us from microbial diseases. We are now on the last type of blood cell, platelets. In this image, we find the red blood cells, the white blood cells, and platelets. When you compare the size of the platelets with the white blood cells and red blood cells, we find that platelets are extremely small in size. Platelets are disc-shaped. 2.5 to 4 lakh platelets are present per cubic millimeter of blood. This is how the blood cells look under microscope. The numerous cells that are seen here are the red blood cells. The largest cell that is seen here is the white blood cell, and you can see it has nucleus. This white blood cell is neutrophil. The dots that are seen are platelets. So you can compare that platelets are extremely small in size. Platelets play an important role in the blood clotting process. If bleeding occurs, then at the site of injury, platelets and a protein called fibrinogen form a clot and seal the injury. Thus, it prevents the oozing of blood from the site of injury. And from where does fibrinogen come? We have learned that it is present in the plasma, that is the fluid component of blood. That was all for today. In this class, we have covered page 79 of your textbook. A gentle reminder, please make sure that you read your textbook. It's time now to say goodbye. Here is a cartoon to leave you on a light note. Thank you, dear girls, for joining me. Have a fabulous day. God bless you.